Apoia malamu te.
Check out our welcoming committee. Hey, Chris.
Yeah, Jason.
This story started a lot earlier than what we're showing.
Oh, it sure did.
With an idea that turned into a medical mission of utmost importance.
I remember when I was messaging Dr. Paul, freaking out because I'm like, you live half the world, literally around the planet on the opposite end, and we're sitting here messaging on Facebook like it's nothing.
With an idea of perhaps visiting the Democratic Republic of Congo, and not just the Democratic Republic of Congo, but the dead center of the daggum African continent.
Yep. And I was blown away by the fact that he gave up his medical practicing here in the United States to go back to the Congo to live there because he had a huge heart for the children of the Sankuru where he grew up.
So to get ourselves there, we had to jump through a few hoops. Yeah. Some of which were a bit surprising, some of it were a bit daunting, and some of it was a little expensive.
The entire 6 or 8 months of planning, I was just on pins and needles.
In fact, we got an invite from the governor, and then a couple of weeks before it was time to actually get on the plane, the guy got arrested. So we had to get invites from the new governor.
Yeah, that was really crazy. And then, of course, we're scrambling with the embassy here in the United States trying to get your paperwork sorted out.
Not to mention the fact we're raising money to buy motorcycles and computers and medical supplies to take with us in big Tupperware containers and figuring out how to transport those and not get lost in transit. And yellow fever shots and the whole 9 yards. And this is way before we even get on a plane.
And I was completely blown away, by the way, through that process. We would just ask on our YouTube channel and people would give. It was just amazing.
Yep. So then we booked our airlines and we flew through Brussels out of the United States and into Kinshasa. So the flight to Brussels and over to the continent of Africa was not eventful. It was smooth and everything, but then we fly into Kinshasa.
It was dark.
And we had somebody picking us up there who wanted to have conversations while you went back inside to find the luggage.
First, you got to tell me, what did it feel like just walking off that plane? There's no jet bridge. You're coming down an old rickety metal ladder.
Think of 1950s, and you're coming off of one of those old prop airplanes, and you're walking down the steps as if you were in a black and white movie or something, and the heat and the smell and the noises were the things that introduced me to Kinshasa Airport. But little did I know that this wasn't even going to be the most surprising and overwhelming portion of the trip.
Now, what was really disconcerting for me, we have a guy's picture on our phone and a name, John, that we're looking for. This guy was set up by Dr. Paul to come and find us and be our protocol guy. That's what we call it. And he's nowhere to be seen. But these two other guys that we've never seen before, don't look like anybody on the picture that we have, come up to us and try to grab our backpacks off our shoulders and basically throw us into an SUV right there by the side of the plane.
With a destination that's indeterminate at this particular moment.
Are we getting kidnapped? We call over to John using WhatsApp. And he's like, yeah, those are my guys. And then we get to the other side and John's great, everything's finally we can breathe because we have connected face to face with the person we're supposed to meet.
We made it through passport control, waiting for our bags to come off. Our good friend Paul had someone actually meet us at the plane with a shuttle bus and brought us in, expedited the process, and got us through the priority line at passport control, which is really cool. Went through that pretty quick. And now we're just waiting for our bags. But you can see the chaos that is Kinshasa. It's quite an operation here.
So after getting all of the luggage, finding out who's who, and loading it into the SUV, leaving the airport, Kinshasa proper is to the right, and we turn left. We go down what I would consider wide enough to be a 4-lane road, and there were probably 8 lanes of vehicles, and outside of that are thousands of huts and little buildings and half-finished skyscrapers, and everybody selling everything to everybody and trying not to crash into anybody.
And the only pavement that you can see is the road that we're on. It's full of potholes. It's got debris everywhere, plastic bottles and trash mounded up 3 feet in the air on either side of the road. But we're jamming to some Congo music and we're having some fun, and we're heading to this guy's house who is going to host us for the night.
We go down this road for a good 10 or 15 minutes at least, and we find ourselves turning right onto a very bumpy, very potholed dirt road with people we don't know and a destination we are unfamiliar with. And as we approach it, we see these great 15-foot white cinder block walls with a gate that, as we approach with our headlights, opens up in anticipation of our arrival.
Well, here we are. After 24 hours on airplanes to get across an ocean, we have finally arrived in the Democratic Republic of Congo.
We made it to Kinshasa. Oh my gosh, as soon as they opened those airplane doors and I stepped outside, the smell, I was like, wow, so familiar, foreign, but at the same time I was like, man, this smells like Kinshasa.
It couldn't have been a more pleasant welcoming. As you can see, we have some people here that are on our side for this.
We made it to this beautiful compound with Pastor Jenga's place here. It's a walled compound with a security guard at the front, razor wire all the way around this big tall fence, or big wall basically, and a nice little guest house with 2 beds, 2 rooms, 2 guest rooms, and we slept really well for 5 hours.
Well, today it's 4:30 in the morning and we are headed back to the airport so that we can get on a much smaller cargo plane to get into the internal portion of the Congo.
And so now we're back up after only 5 hours of sleep, getting ready to head to Loja,
where we will meet Paul and all of his associates and continue on the journey.
It's going to be another exhausting traveling day, but we're looking forward to seeing Paul and getting this trip going.
I think I might like it here.
So we head back the next morning as light peeked out and I could see this environment in the daylight for the very first time. And we get back to the airport, which was, coming into it, was confusing, with a bunch of, to me, unintelligible conversations between people who looked like they were in authority and our driver. And so when we get there, Chris and I are doing what we normally do: unpack and record it.
Mm-hmm.
Come to find out, probably not a good idea.
No. That was the first time I was afraid that you were going to be thrown into a jail, never to be seen again.
We were warned that we shouldn't probably make a spectacle of ourselves.
Yeah, 2 white guys in a sea of nothing but Africans. We're already a spectacle. What are you talking about?
And as my personality dictates, I didn't listen. So we are in the airport. I break out my phone. I do a quick pan of the interior of the airport, which is, to me, a very foreign type of environment because of the way that things were being done. In America, you stand in line.
Yeah.
You wait for your turn. This is not the case there.
It was complete mayhem. Just a big gladiator-style arena, circular walls all around us with paint peeling off and just decay everywhere.
Turns out, one of the lower-level workers in the airport was a snitch.
We don't like snitches.
And I was approached and was asked for my phone, asked for the video, told me that they were watching us since we had arrived in the parking lot.
Yep. Mm-hmm. It was basically kind of a shakedown. That's the one thing that broke my heart about going back was everything was exactly like it used to be. Everything was basically a system designed to extort money from anyone who could. Pay this guy and he'll let us move up to that spot in line. Pay that guy and he'll let us bring our carry-on on the plane. Pay that guy and he'll make sure that our luggage arrives with you today, which didn't happen, by the way.
Now, once we got through all of that kerfuffle and we were allowed to pass through the gate and into the waiting area, everything changed.
Going through an airport in Kinshasa, getting ready to board Air Kasai. Let me just tell you something. The cacophony of new sounds, like packaging tape that never stops, and people's conversations that you can't understand, and pieces of paper that you've never seen before, and officials in uniforms that are unfamiliar, and people wanting to do things for you that you don't want them to do for you. With all of that said, very spectacularly, we got through it without any abrasions whatsoever. We are now sitting in a very nice cafe where we had omelets and coffee. I think I've been overserved. And we had a couple of people already attending to our every need and are going to make sure that we don't miss our flight out that premier door over there. However, Air Kasai decided today that they were going to go to a different destination than the one that we're going to prior to us going to Loja. So we are now going to wait 2 or 3 hours for the plane to make its first run destination, come back and get us, and if we are lucky, I might have time for a 30-minute nap. Haven't slept really good in about 36 hours. So, when we get to Loja, I'm probably going to crash. But, for now, everything is peachy.
Once they came into the restaurant and said, hey, your plane is here. This is the one that you need to get on. It was a madhouse run.
Yes.
There were no assigned seats. You went out into the lobby where all these other people had been waiting that you didn't realize, oh, all these people are going on the same plane? Okay. We all rush, and it's just a madhouse.
To the bus.
Catch what you can. And you and I ended up with the last row in the plane.
And before we even get onto the plane, we're standing in a pseudo line. I call it a pseudo line because people cut line. They push past you, they push around you, and you have to stand chest to back against the person in front of you if you do not want to have someone step in front of you. And we kept getting people cutting in front of us so that, yes, we were the last seat on the last row in the back, and both of the air vents were broken.
The meal service was delightful. 2 pieces of bread with a slice of bologna in between.
So we spent a couple of hot hours on that plane to fly all the way from Kinshasa to a little town called Loja.
Arriving and landing in Loja was quite the experience for you. Is that the first time you landed on a dirt airstrip?
Yes.
And it's this beautifully newly tarmacked airport with gorgeous architecture.
We had warm towels and hot tea. No. What we really had was a debarkation with us crossing our fingers that our luggage was going to follow us, and a expectation that we're still not allowed to record anything that is around us.
Yes. When we landed, we walked down the rickety old ladder and basically walk over to the edge of this long fence made of sticks. And there's a platform there, a concrete platform with a roof over it, open like a shed. And then you look back behind you and all of the luggage is being tossed out of this airplane into an open bed truck. And then that truck drives over to us. It backs up to this raised platform and the staff just basically toss all of the stuff off of the truck into a pile on this platform.
I'm watching them pulling off the plane and trying to do an inventory of what we had brought, and I noticed immediately that not everything we brought came off the plane.
And that fear was confirmed, of course. They're like, no, sorry, we don't see those 2. So anyway, we grabbed the luggage that we could that was there, and at this point, we got to finally meet Dr. Paul.
Yes. Hugs all around and high fives and howdy doos, because it's the first time I'd ever seen him, and it was a reuniting experience for you.
Yep. His joy at seeing us was short-lived because he immediately became absolutely livid that the funding that we had paid extra for our luggage to arrive with us did nothing, and we were missing bags. And he was yelling and screaming at people in Otatela, and you and I were standing at the corner going, okay.
And it escalated even further when we got inside.
I know.
They started checking our luggage. We were ushered into the
Airport administrator's office.
There you go. And we spent the next 20 to 30 minutes listening to Paul and the administrator argue in Otatela about whether we were going to get our passports back.
It's a cultural thing. But they were literally yelling at each other, dude.
Arms were waving and faces were red.
But what was the ultimate decision?
They gave us our passports back. Dr. Paul on the way out said, "This is the first time I've ever seen anyone get their passports returned to them so that they can travel in the Sankuru region. Because as we progress telling you this story in subsequent episodes, you will see that we needed those passports on multiple occasions, even out in the jungle. So I'm glad we got them back."
After leaving the airport administrator's office, we go outside, and some of Dr. Paul's friends have loaded this big old beat up, I think it was a Land Rover. He doesn't own a four-wheeled drive or four-wheeled vehicle. Very few people, almost nobody. We saw hardly any four-wheeled vehicles while we were in and around the Sankuru. But his uncle, who also is a missionary and serves in the Sankuru region, happened to have a four-wheel drive vehicle. So he borrowed that, allowing us to transport all of our luggage back to his house.
Where we did our inventory to find out what we were missing, planned the next excursion, and then also planned for the following morning to take a walk around the village of Loja in the outskirts to proclaim that the following day we were going to have a health clinic at Dr. Paul's house.
Dr. Paul, I presume we have an official document for you.
Oh, damn! Should I stop cussing?
Does that look official or what?
Let me see. I gotta look in the mirror. Like that.
This is one of those ones where I say start the 360 and don't stop it until we're done. Pretty much.
Get it in neutral.
Up.
It's all, oh, there it is.
Dude, that's fun. That's fun.
You almost lost it.
I almost lost it 2 or 3 times.
Throw your light on, Chris.
Throw your light on.
There you go. Now, you'll have to rev the engine to see it.
First day in Loja. Extraordinary. Let's recap. 2 of our bags didn't make it. The officials tried to keep our passports. Dr. Paul Law talked them out of keeping our passports. We had a great dinner, great conversation, and went over all of the things that we brought in the supplies. We also got to ride our new bikes. However, on our way back from visiting baby Esther, the biggest lightning and torrential downpour in the pitch blackness that I've ever seen. Ever didn't see, because it was pitch black. Couldn't see the paths, so I had to follow the tail lights. Probably went in a couple of spots I didn't mean to. But let me say something. With all of those little difficulties and extraordinary events, I'm having the time of my life so far. Today, we get to explore the town of Loja, visit a few things, see a few people, and get ready for a big medical event tomorrow. So, good morning.
We got on that Fokker 50, man, it's an ancient airplane. But it was a smooth flight. We got the last 2 seats in the back, and easy peasy made it up here to Loja. And once we stepped off that plane, I felt my heart rate go down, and my blood pressure dropped about 50 stops. And now I'm in the real Congo, and I mean, this is Paul's backyard. He lives on this beautiful compound. There's manioc plants growing back here. That's the outhouse, by the way, if you want to use the facilities. But I'm having my first cup of Africa black tea. We got to ride the motorcycles. Paul took us out on a test ride, and nobody had any falls, so that was good. The gear shifting is interesting. It's not first gear down and the rest up. It's first gear down, second gear down, third gear down. So that's taking a little bit of getting used to, but they rode just fine, and I think we're going to be good. Anyway, cheers. We're here in Loja, ready to have some fun. Going to go meet some people today. It's going to be a good one. I remember Dr. Paul saying it was the largest turnout for that type of a clinic that they'd ever had in Loja. And the clinic was basically for expectant and new mothers and their newborn children to get vaccinated, weighed, all the stats taken, and all of that good stuff. So it was a very, very successful operation, thanks to a couple of white guys walking through the village and making new friends. We had children just running out of the huts and the homes and holding our hands and walking with us and laughing, and it was great.
Teaching them high fives and fist bumps and showing them the pictures that we took on the cameras and the video recordings. We ended up having probably 300 people show up to the house for that clinic, which gave us a really deep introduction into the work that Dr. Paul has been putting together, trying to keep a record, a new database of inoculations and health data for his system. But that wasn't even a glimpse into what we were about to endure.
Thinking that we'd had a huge success, we hit it for the night, got a good night's rest, and cock-a-doodle-doo. Next thing you know, we are packing and prepping our motorcycles for the insane journey ahead.